This is the S&P 500 SPDR ETF, ticker symbol SPY, 1 month overview reading for the month of January 2024. It's currently November 20th, 2023, 6:53 p.m. Eastern Time. The S&P 500, or SPY, I should say, at the time of this reading is $454.26. In the extended hours, $454.40. That's USD. And the shuffle file for the January reading was created on October 25th, 2023 at 9:12 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for SPY in the month of January is a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. It's crossed with a significant reversal. And the fortune card often indicates some sort of important high. Behavior around the highest high, we have sideways rotation and a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of sideways rotation. Usually when you see the Queen of Discs, it's the revisiting of sideways rotation along the support level that we've recently met before. Not always to the downside. In a case like this, where it's in the high correlator position, it would be support at sideways rotation along support at near the high, probably with a sharp drop out of it. Behavior around the low, the full card indicates a significant amount of price change to meet the low, and it also indicates an improbable opportunity, a very auspicious moment in which to likely enter or exit or both a trade. We would talk about that in more detail as we progress through the reading. Before we go any further, guys, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel, why we give this stuff away. We're looking to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Imagine if everybody that was in the stock market took a portion of their profits and made sure that they dedicated that portion every time they profited to some sort of goodwill. Imagine if everybody in the stock market did that. The world would be such a better place. It's incredible to think about. So we can do a bit of that together. And the way we do that is by following the rule of karma for the channel. It's the unwritten rule between the universe and anybody utilizing this information to profit. You follow the rule of karma here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of profits of all profitable trades should be donated forward to one of these charities here, and 5% of the profits of all profitable trades should be donated back to the channel here as well. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel. Neglect to follow through on your end of this agreement, and the universe will not, life happens. Don't be that guy. Be the guy that follows the rule and makes a ton of money. Before we get into the day-by-day chart behavior, as well as like prominent highs and lows and trades and all that, I want to take a look at it from the standpoint of the 2024 1 year. So what we've got here is kind of like a U-shaped dip here into a low, like a lowest low thus far for the year here at the beginning, like the early part of January, and then erratic behavior kind of back and forth through the same price level around the January high, revisiting a crest that was recently a past opportunity and pushing the upper end of a range higher towards the end of January. The low will form after a decline through multiple support levels on a multi-day scale. But here's the thing. So we've got the preview from 2023 appears right there, i.e. on the 2023 reading. The preview for 2024 is the Aeon card, giving this Aeon card extra prominence, right? As far as sequence of events, I'm actually seeing cross-reading correlations, I should say. Interesting, the Priestess card's energy is kind of correlating to the end of the month here. Okay, so the Swiftness card in the end of December, Swiftness card at the bottom, so offer that a pretty notable move. So it's looking pretty mixed throughout January, but with an important trough and an important crest that'll stand out on a 1 year chart there. It's important to understand when you're interpreting a 1 month reading, guys, each one of these cards going horizontal across the screen from left to right, top to bottom. So like you can see the dates of the month. Each card represents about 1 day of chart behavior, but what you need to understand is that not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So what's most important to follow is the sequence of events. In most cases, if not in all cases, the timing should be right on point. But if it does veer a little bit off, plus or minus a day here or there in some cases, just pay attention to the sequence of events. That will keep you on track in cases like that. And always trade responsibly. Never trade like we're right all the time. We are not right all the time, guys. We're right most of the time. Just don't. It's silly to do that. Take your time. The tortoise beats the hare. On the second, we have a trough early in the day. There's quite a lot going on here. There's the appearance of quite a few cross-reading congruencies. Even this ruin here appears in early January right here. Near a low. Most likely our lowest low here, right around the 2nd or the 3rd. It's most likely our lowest low for the month, like period. But there is another location where it might take place. In any case, very, very likely here around the 2nd, and then again into the 3rd, there's an important price level. The science card indicates an important price level highlighted on the 3rd. And usually, and it's important on the scale of like a 1 year chart. So that would indicate likely like a bottom or a top. And in this case, it correlates to a lowest low. Very, very likely there on the 3rd is where we see a lowest low. We might revisit it again. It's possible. On the 4th, we're rallying into a key resistance. There's a notable move on a 1 day chart on the 4th, pushing for a distant resistance, which is distant on a 1 day chart. On a 1 month chart, it'll be a prominent resistance, and once we meet that resistance, we should decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Those spikes up on the way down, usually they meet moving averages and bearish formation as their resistance, but not always. And then on the 5th, there's on like a one year chart scale minimum, there's an important support level highlighted, and it might be that there's like on a 1 day chart there on the 5th midday there might be like a trough, and it looks like it's kind of like indicating that we break that support. So that's what it is. So this important support on the 5th that's highlighted, it's about midday on the 5th, and it looks like it ends up not holding and we break down through it, and we very likely see the same lowest low that we had from the 3rd. Looks like we have a pretty big move higher on the 8th. Likely open higher and a notable move higher to a peak or crest that'll stand out on a 1 month chart there towards the end of the day. There is a breakout on a multi-day scale here on the 8th, and there's a trade opportunity, by the way, on the 3rd, 4th, as well as here on the 8th, 9th. And this is the type of information I'm about to talk about right now that you would only find normally in the paid version of a monthly reading. We do the S&P 500 SPY, all like the whole thing free. But just so you understand, like if you were going to order a one month reading, the trade information I'm talking about right now is information that you would only find there. Okay, so there's a trade here on the cusp of the second, third, or midday on the third, maybe in the midst of a trough. Want to open up a long position, hold that long position into the fourth, where we have that rally into a key resistance and exit at that key resistance. It'll be important on a 1 day and a 1 month chart. So crest at the end of the day on the 8th, important on a 1 month chart. On the 9th, we open higher. What this is indicating here, this little angel is indicating to me that the low on the 8th will have a lower price level on the 9th. Prominent trough on a 1 month chart there on the 9th. Cross-reading congruencies there as well. So our first highest high is probably here around the cusp of the 8th, 9th, and then again on the 10th. But there's a trough on the 9th. So we have like this failed attempt to break through key resistance, probably the same resistance from the 8th where we met a highest high, and then a decline through key support there on the 9th. On the 10th, there's a lot of price change covered, and probably a pretty notable decline at the end of the day on the 9th or on the cusp. Open higher on the 10th. There's a resistance level that's highlighted on the 10th, important on a 1 month chart minimum, and there's enough price change and the type of price behavior that happens on the 10th allows for the opportunity to trade both directions. Not at the same time like a straddle or strangle per se. We're like first in one direction, and then there's a reversal allowing you to exit and then trade in the opposite direction. Usually that means there's like a full retracement or something like that. But you can see here on the 10th, we've got a high correlator and a low correlator here. So there's going to be a prominent peak and crest on a lot of price change covered. On the 11th, we have a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden move higher and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line, taking us into a prominent trough at the end of the day, or on the cusp of the 12th. On the 12th, we have a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. There's a unicursal hexagram correlation there, which is significant because it's a cross-reading congruency with the 1 year. We have this unicursal that appears right here around the cusp of January, February. Not certain that it's the same energy per se, but it could be. All right, and it looks like we go from like a high there on probably the 8th, 9th, 10th. We might see it again the morning of the 11th, but on the 12th, there's that volatility, and I think we probably have a sharp drop there. But if not, it looks like there's a pretty notable move, or the halting of a bullish trend on the 16th, marked by a sharp decline through key support. Matter of fact, let me back up here. So the cross-reading congruencies between the 1 month and the 1 day readings for the SPY, they're pretty much lined up here. We see the Queen of Swords correlations 3 times here towards the end of the day on the 12th. Even then again, it continues onward into the 16th and even in the 17th. We don't see unicursal on the 1 days until the 17th. So we might see the high again here, I think, in the morning on the 16th. Sideways rotation along key support level on a 1 month chart scale there on the 17th, and then there's a unicursal, so we likely have a sharp drop that starts on the 17th. It's like a sharp drop, and then we turn around and we come back, and then there's hangman energy. Interesting, right? So we see the hangman energy there, unicursal there. This is all in sequence of events, and then we're back on track, it looks like, on the 18th. So I don't think it'll be so much sideways rotation on the 17th, because I don't see a real correlation to the Prince of Discs. It's continuing with Queen of Swords, so it's probably continued volatility, and then that sharp drop maybe starts there, but we have a notable decline on the 18th with the opportunity early in the day to open up a long position. Sorry, let me back up on those trades. So on the 8th, in the midst of that move to the upside, a crest at the end of the day, opportunity to open up a short position and close that short position the very next day, probably towards the end of the day at a low. And then we probably go back and forth between that price level and the high that was established in the morning of the 8th. We probably do that there on the 10th. So you could probably play both directions, like I said, one moment at a time, likely ending to the upside. And then if we do end up to the upside on the 10th, you could open up a short to close end of day on the 11th. Then on the 16th, probably early in the morning, if we open higher and there's a peak or crest early in the day, or we're near a highest high early in the morning on the 16th, I would say that's opportunity to open up a short position, which you could close later on. It'll be like a near overbought peak on a 1 day chart there. That's where I would enter into a short position there on the 16th. And then you could do a day trade there where there would be a sharp drop on a 1 day chart standing out probably towards the end of the day and close out of that short position there. If I'm wrong about being able to close out of it for a day trade, you would be able to close out of it here on the 18th, 19th. So if you're doing options, you want to make sure that you got expiration that's out probably to be safe out around the 30th. In any case, by the 18th here in the morning, you would likely close out of that short position. And there's a crest or a peak at the end of the day on the 18th, but it's not going to be like one of the highest ones. It's just going to stand out. And then we have a notable drop on the 19th. This is why I wouldn't open up a long in the midst of it. It's more of this Princess of Cups is more of a close a short. But there's a sharp drop on the 16th, or a notable drop on a 1 month chart here on the 16th to revisit a support level on a 1 month chart scale that was important. We recently met once before, but I do think we have a peak at the end of the day on the 19th. So we have a sharp drop, revisit a support, and then it looks like there's probably a peak at the end of the day on the 19th. If it's not at the end of the day on the 19th, then it'll be in the morning on the 22nd. Looks like we probably open higher on the 22nd, and there's 3 crisscrosses back and forth through the same price level, confirming a bullish trend there on the 22nd. Sideways fluctuating decline on the 23rd that precedes a rally. So in the midst of that sideways fluctuating decline on the 23rd, you could open up a long position and close that long position towards the end of the day on the 24th at a key resistance level on a 1 month chart scale. It gets kind of convoluted here around the 26th, 29th. Hard to say because there's like highs. I get highest high energies and lowest low energies. I have correlations, cross-reading congruencies for both of them. It's kind of hard, so we're probably gonna have some maybe not as reliable information here. It'll be difficult to pinpoint the direction. Based on that, but on the 25th we have a pop and drop. So we go from a peak at the end of the day on the 24th. We open lower, and we open lower on the 24th, move higher into a peak at the end of the day, and then open lower on the 25th. There's a pop and drop on the 25th, likely with a peak at the end of the day, and then a trough early in the day on the 26th. By the way, guys, if you're interested in looking further ahead, you would have been able to watch this January SPY reading as early as November 23rd if you had the early access, or if you were on our free mailing list. The way that you get on the mailing list, you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and just sign up here. It's a free newsletter. You receive the S&P 500 monthly reading within the first week of the preceding trading month. The only way to get it faster is through early access, which you get here on our website under our services, SO Meta Posts. Early access to our posts. Click here to subscribe. $29 a month, $249 for a year. Great way to support the channel. And that's the thing about SO Meta analysis is it's so powerful. You can actually use it to plan ahead. All right, so we likely open lower on the 26th, and then there's a rally increasing momentum moving forward throughout the day of the 26th. Yeah, and then it looks like in the midst of that rally on the 26th, you could open up a short position, close that short position on the 30th. The 30th or the 31st, in a period of sideways rotation near lows on one-day charts on both the 30th and the 31st. Sneak preview for February is multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance. When we look at February, we didn't see the Aeon card appear yet, so I think that the Aeon card probably is going to appear in early February, and it may be that we see another unicursal, but we likely have a higher price level in February than we had in January. It's either the same high or a higher high here in February. Also, keep an eye out for the S&P 500 10-year reading, which is finally going to be dropping. You can see right here, it's pretty accurate. We have this trough at the end of the year of 2023. A lot of price change in 2024, allowing for one to position themselves in both directions. Not at the same time, but like first in one direction, then in the other direction, with likely a notable drop there at the end of the year. In any case, this is pretty solid. Keep an eye out for that. Oh yeah, guys, and so if you're interested in a monthly reading just like this, but for a stock or a crypto, you can order custom monthlies. You can now order custom monthlies on our website. They're one of the more pricey products, but you can order it here on our website, Tarot for Traders, under our services, SO Meta Posts. Look for the 1 month custom. I believe it'll be $500. It's not currently up yet, but it'll be up within the next couple of days, and it'll be $500. If you're interested in any of these ticker symbols or crypto, you can subscribe for that here, or you can get the all paid, which is this. These are recurring, whereas the custom monthlies are not recurring. And that's SPY for January 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Really helps out the channel. Most importantly, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits forward to the shares, 5% of the profits back to the channel, 90% left over, spend it out of love. Those are the rules of karma. Make sure to follow those, and the universe will send it back to you tenfold through this channel. Neglect to do so, guys. You're not following through on your end of the whole purpose of this channel. The universe is going to neglect to allow you to profit from this information. Blessings, my friends. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Look at this guy. He's sleeping on my arm. So cute.